Hello. In this video, we are going to add a door at the end of the level, and that will be what we will kind of consider to be our win condition. But eventually, we're going to add in multiple levels. So let's first just get the door sprite to appear. So in our atlas.json, we actually do have a sprite defined. It's called closed door. That's just a door that appears in the picture. So we'll try to get this into our game here. All right, so first thing is, maybe I'll just look at my level design. Um, I might just try to include it at the very end of the levels here. Maybe just go ahead and I'll do a capital D for door. All right, so it's not going to show up right away. I do need to define that up here. So in the level config, just like we did for Ogre and everything else, we need to define what the D stands for. So I'm going to copy and paste the stuff for I don't know if I'll do for the Ogre. It's going to be a lot more like a wall piece. Yeah, so I'm going to copy this stuff for W actually. So copy, and then put it at the bottom. It doesn't really matter though. The only thing is make sure to put a comma then between the Ogre and then this new one. All right, so capital D is now going to be an object with the tag of door, and it is the sprite. I called it closed door, so I'm just going to keep that for now. Closed underscore door. That was exactly the name that was listed in the atlas.json there. Um, area, I think so, like collision. Um, I think I might keep solid just to see. So this is what it should look like then. Okay, so I got this door to appear. It's kind of not exactly aligned with what I want. Origin is usually really helpful for that. So I'm going to add an origin component. Now let's just try center. I know that's not the right answer, but just to take a look at this is what centering is going to do. So actually that looks pretty good. Um, might end up staying with something like that. Yeah. I think it's actually laying on top of one of the other blocks though. So I wonder if I pick something like left. It's like I think that's slightly better. Left is like center left. So images do draw from the upper left hand corner. Um, so that is um, where we'd want to position it a little bit. And I know it does look a little goofy. We could try to move it up. I just have this other part of this wall here. So I'm just going to keep it like this for now. So let's see what this kind of looks like. Okay, to get hit. Yeah, so it's solid. Can't really run over it or anything, but I got the door there. All right, so this is getting a little bit into actually taking a look at what are called the hitboxes. So every time we've added this area component, it does create something called a hitbox. So if I am clicking in my game and I use the F1 key on my keyboard, I can see these hitboxes here. So I can actually remember where the barriers are. Um, so the one thing is you notice how the ogre actually its hitbox is bigger than its body. So that might be something that I want to adjust a little bit. And also the door, kind of its hitbox is bigger than exactly what I want it to be. So there's several different ways I can go about shrinking these down. Probably the simplest way is to just take that area component and scale it smaller. And the scale property is pretty useful in a lot of different places. And I would, and just how do I know this can happen? If I look at the area component here, I could probably set like a scale property to it. All right, so inside of the area component, I'm going to add a JSON object where I'm going to say the scale is, now if I said 1 and like 1.0 would be the same, but if I said 0.5, then it would be half as big. All right, and if I click on F1, you can see how that is now um, the hitbox of the door there. So I can keep moving things around to really align it the way that I want it. So maybe center actually turned out to be pretty good. A little bit better of the origin there. But maybe the 50% scale is a little too small, so maybe a 70% scale. So that's looking a little bit closer to what I want. Maybe I could try 60. And I'm saying 60% because um, those are those numbers. If you want to write 60%, you write it as 0.60. So you can just keep playing with those numbers if you feel like the hitboxes aren't really what you want. So that's looking pretty close. So while we're looking at that, we might as well do this for the ogre too. The ogre has an area component. Well, let's pass in a JSON object with a scale property. And maybe I will pick like 0.5. I want to see what that looks like to get it down to 50% size of what it used to be. All right, so that is a little bit closer. And what you might see happen now is the ogre actually goes a little bit farther because it's not colliding with the barrier as quickly as it used to. So that can be a pretty useful property when you're working with images. You might have noticed that I did that with the player in the first place, that the player has this property like this. So that at least has the door, kind of got the hitboxes the way I wanted it to be. So then we want to do collision with the door here. So I'm gonna go, this seems like a good spot. After the player on collide, why don't I just go ahead and collapse that actually. So notice what I did, I just clicked on the arrow, see how it goes from line 109 to 122, it was really long, so I'm just hiding it up a little bit. So I'm gonna say player dot on collide quotes door, so with any object that has the tag door, comma, parens, arrow, curly braces. All right, so what should happen when I do this? Well, I just want to go, quotes, win. So for now, I just have this one level. So if I hit that door, I've beat the level. And if I only have one level, I beat the game. So I got there, and then I can play again. So in the future, we will add more levels, and the door is going to take us to those levels.